Welcome to Brainstorm MTG. I'm ELD, and this is Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Mass. We have SCG and now leaving a legacy champ, Adam Brennan, versus Tony on Agrolome. Adam's had a ton of success with Sneak and Show. I believe he's on Storm here. We'll see how he does with this very different combo deck versus Agrolome. I think in general, you'd probably rather be on Sneak and Show in this matchup. It's a little less punished by Chalice of the Void. Storm definitely has some hands that struggle quite a bit against it. And also Chalice at 0 is a reasonable play versus Storm, shutting off Lotus Petal and Lion's Eye Diamond. A little bit better in decks that also have Blood Moon. But let's see here. Duress. Really not a ton of good stuff here. We've got a Thoughtseize. The Duressing a Thoughtseize. Not the most exciting situation there. Mox Diamond. Mox Diamond. Life from the Loam, returning those lands. And we've got some acceleration. And Thoughtseize happens anyways. Seeing some cantrips preordained, 2 different art brainstorms and a Lotus Petal. Some mind games there from Adam. His different brainstorm arts. And also Dark Depths with crop rotation on the other side of the board. So fairly dangerous situation. Adam may be in a spot where he really needs to find a Duress or a Thoughtseize himself to stop this crop rotation. Like Dark Depths is going to come down, and it's pretty much now or never here for Adam. Crop rotation for Thespian Stage end step will create a 20/20, and this is game 1, so we're very unlikely to see any type of bounce. As good as Chain of Vapor is, not truly a main deckable card. Just may be go time here. Pedal to the metal. Brainstorm, trying to sculpt a little bit of fast mana. Is this going to be enough? Looks like a couple of Infernal Tutors. Those can play well with Cabal Rituals under Threshold. The mana's really constricted here. This is going to be a tough spot to play out of. It's just 6 cards in hand. Lotus Petal. Infernal Tutor revealing Lotus Petal. I think this Lotus Petal may be used for a cantrip. I think that might just be not enough cards to make this come together. 20/20 being created, and that's going to do it. Adam sees the writing on the wall, and he is done. Going on to game number 2. Very fast, solid start there from Tony. Thoughtseize, even after being duressed, and then a 20/20 on the following turn. That does beat quite a lot of the format. Of course, Adam wasn't totally dead going into it there. Brainstorm can turn a hand of Pokemon cards into a game winner, taking literal garbage and trading it in for potentially the best cards in the deck, depending on what it's going to give you. Storm, a deck that I've got a lot of reps in. I do enjoy it. I don't know if I consider myself more of a vintage or a legacy player at heart. I love both formats, but I will say that Storm feels a lot like a vintage deck at times. Lion's Eye Diamond, very powerful. We'll see if anybody ends up using the new End of Aeons or whatever it is, the new Time Twister. It's a very interesting card, definitely worth experimenting with. Time Twisters are powerful. And Adam going to be on the play here. Tony not going to have much to say about it. So if he does have one of those not hugely uncommon first turn hands, either making a ton of goblin tokens or just actually hitting a lethal tendrils, Tony really not going to have anything to say about it. Very unusual for aggro loam to sideboard cards like Mindbreak Trap. They're really hoping to get a turn. They may have Leyline of the Void, which can slow down Storm. Certainly doesn't beat Storm on its own, but it can make it a little bit more difficult, cutting off Paths in Flames, making your Cabal Rituals much worse, along with your Dark Petition. No longer getting the mana back, and just Ponder here so far for Adam. Do you see a Wasteland from Tony? Volcanic Island. At least sending a signal it's unlikely that Adam has multiple fetch lands in hand. We'll see if he decides to go after this mana or not. He does not. If your opponent did have a pair of fetch lands, it would be very likely for them to play one on the first turn to thin the deck out and then still have another fetch land in hand for a shuffle effect later. That shuffle can be so crucial, along with Brainstorm. And Thoughtseize here from Tony, showing just a fistful of mana. 2 Lotus Petals, 2 Lion's Eye Diamonds, and 1 fetch land. Brainstorm from Adam. And now that fetch land that he kept back in hand will be able to get rid of the worst of it from his hand. Really, all he needs to do is draw a tutor or just continue hitting cantrips. Wasteland taking out that volcanic. The rest showing, of course, the same cards, getting rid of a couple of lands with the Brainstorm's effect. And now it's on to some fresh new cards, any of which could be lethal or potentially lethal. So many possibilities here with this hand. 7 mana total. Though no rituals yet, so Past in Flames not really the line that you'd be most inclined to take at this point. And just garbage here. Abrupt Decay, not particularly good. Now with only 1 Lion's Eye Diamond, Abrupt Decay not likely to make any type of impact here. When trying to make play with multiple Lion's Eye Diamonds, it is possible to Abrupt Decay one of the earlier LEDs and deny your opponent the ability to sacrifice it for mana without discarding their hand. But the way it would work with a singleton copy is you're going to be able to play the Lion's Eye Diamond. Once it resolves, you have priority again, and you can go ahead and play your Infernal Tutor or whatever else is going to combo with it. Dark Depths is in play. That mystery card for Tony, if it is crop rotation, means that this one could be over in the blink of an eye. There's an unknown card along with this Abrupt Decay in Tony's hand. Not a lot to work with. Really 10 turns at most. He could do it the old-fashioned way. But, oh no, and another Lion's Eye Diamond. And cracking both LEDs in response to Infernal Tutor. That's going to be 6 mana. And it looks like he has 9 mana total. Believe the Storm is 5. And he's going to grab Ad Nauseam here. I think he was 1 Storm shy of just chaining Infernal Tutors into a Tendrils. Storm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He has 1 mana or 1 point of life shy from just ending it with certainty. is interesting to note that that Abrupt Decay could have been used to hit that other LED. And down to just 3. Abrupt Decay also made it so Adam couldn't ad nauseum with a Lion's Eye Diamond left in play. Very often that is the type of thing that you'd want to do. Have an LED to combo with your Infernal Tutor that you draw off of your ad nauseum. Preordain. Storm count is very high. His hand is very full, so this Infernal Tutor not going to be able to just get anything that he wants. He's got a bunch of lands in there as well. Not going to be able to play all of these cards. Duress. And there is a crop rotation. I'm trying to think of a reason for Tony to not crop rotate in response to get the Thespian stage here. I don't know if I'm missing something. Looks like Adam's going to discard. And Abrupt Decay being fired off. Yeah, I think Tony may have just got a little overwhelmed by the sheer volume of threats on the other side of the table, but he could have had that, or at least he could have made a 20-20. Totally possible Adam has a Chain of Vapor or similar answer to the Merit Lage. The discard step being used to clear out the difficult cards from Adam's hand, and now very likely he'll be able to naturally combo, playing out a flurry of ritual effects and Infernal Tutors. Infernal finding Cabal Rituals. Cabal Ritual, one of my favorite cards in the list. So powerful. I've won countless games through effects like Trinisphere or Thalia just because of the raw power of the card. Even at 3 mana, that effect is actually fine. Paying 3 to get 5 is on par with Dark Ritual. Chain of Vapor, and now it looks perhaps like he's going to have either the Tendrils already in hand or just Infernal for it. And there we go with Lethal Storm. Chain of Vapor allowing for those Lotus Petals to be put down and picked up. And now how will Adam handle game number 3 on the draw? Aggro Loam has that possibility of a Chalice at 1, which can be very punishing. The other thing about Storm is it can win in time. I don't believe we're getting close to the time limit for the round, but really if you can create a situation where you've only got 3 or so minutes before the end of the round, Storm is pretty much always going to be able to finish in that allotted amount of time. Aggro Loam, not so much. That type of tournament management can make a huge difference for larger tournaments. You do not necessarily want to be taking shortcuts and going as fast as humanly possible if it's not actually going to benefit you. particularly versus the much slower decks, things like Miracles. They really cannot win in time very effectively, barring some type of super early mentor draw. All right. Dark Depths Go from Tony. Preordain for Adam. Moving his game plan forward. Dark Depths Go does not send a very good signal. Sounds like a very weak hand. Could be Urborg into Hex Mage if it was a Turbo Depths build. But as Aggro Loam, I mean, that just seems tough. We don't know how many. I'm just thinking this through. Yeah, I mean, I guess this is just Aggro Loam with Dark Depths combo jammed into it. See if there's any other. Sylvan Scrying. I'm very curious if this is Slow Depths or Turbo Depths or Aggro Loam, and calling it Aggro Loam the whole time. We'll see if Chalice is actually in here, or Mox Diamond. Fun of discovering this stuff together. Echoing Truth on the other side, they're a real hindrance to the combo. It's going to need to be cleared out prior to making a Merit Lage. And Infernal Tutor. Responding with Cabal. Ritual cracking LED to get Threshold. I am loving it. Big fan of this line. 8 black mana. Going to be double Infernal into Tendrils. Does he have enough Storm count for that? No, just Ad Nauseam. Ad Nauseam with 3 black. One, two, three. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 16. Echoing Truth, a little punishing there. 16 damage. May need to assess the situation. Facing down a 2020. Can come online as soon as next turn. This Thespian Sage in Dark Depths. 2 Echoing Truth does provide quite a measure of protection against that, but not exactly the type of card you want to keep in your hand. Brainstorm now. Finding Lotus Petal. That does give the black mana necessary to potentially kickstart things. Infernal Tutor revealing Dark Ritual. And I believe that's going to do it here. A pair of Dark Rituals into Tendrils. Storm 7. Eight, 9, 10. Duress just to make sure. With 4 black floating. We know what's next. He already took the 4 life from it. And now the lethal tendrils. So there we go. Yeah, it looks like Storm versus Turbo Depths here. Oh yeah, no, we got Sylvan Safekeepers and everything. This is full-on Turbo Depths. So, Storm, not the easiest matchup here on either side. A lot of discard. These games can become train wrecks either way. And as we saw from Turbo Depths, it can come out pretty fast. Duress into a 20-20, uncontested, and then on the other side, being able to kind of sculpt a hand and find a path to victory through whatever your opponent has. So hope you enjoyed that one. Thanks for watching.